Hello everyone and welcome back to sort of the first proper rush hour news video. This is for the Riesa Dresden. Obviously the Germans did win the community challenge for sort of how many services you could complete on the route. So we are having a look at Riesa Dresden today. Well, not a proper look, but sort of how they build it. So we talked to the development team on Train Sim 2 to find out more about the featured German route featured in Rush Hour. We are joined by Joe and Michael, who are associate designers for the gameplay team at Dovetail, and Lucas Klimzik, who has been working with Dovetail to help with the signals and track laying for Rush Hour. Lucas, this is your first time joining us. What have you been responsible for in the creation of Rush Hour? So Lucas says, I'm contracted at Dovetail to lay track and add the signals to Rush Hour. I have worked with Dovetail in the past on Train Simulator, and that's how this opportunity came my way. I work closely with the rest of the team to assist with any German-specific questions they may have. How have you approached this project? Is it different to other things you have worked on? This is again what Lucas says. This has been different. We already had a lot of research because the route was created in Train Simulator, which certainly helped us save time in areas that could take hours. The research in track and signals is 50% of the work. We require a lot of information and spend a lot of time looking for it and talking to people who can help us. And as you can see all the screenshots on the screen now. And this is from Michael. We're currently planning for everything. It's how we approach every DLC. Even if we don't have the stock required, we put everything in planning so that if we do decide to create the DLC for the rolling stock, we have all of that information to hand. Our focus is on passenger services, but there will be some freight services too. Yeah, I think that was the same question, that one. On the theme of Rush Hour, is there anything you have to take into consideration to make it feel the way it should? And Michael says, you will definitely see some changes. What we are focusing on for Rush Hour now is that we include every single service we can available. We then put focus on freight and passenger to ensure the traffic is there. And I think this one's from Joe. Obviously, Joe comes into the streams. One thing we are trying to focus on this time is background AI. Not stuff you drive, but just things you will see in the background. The S3, for example, is one train an hour, but it heads down to Freiburg. It's what we like to call scenery trains, as it just adds a bit more to the route and makes it feel more alive. We have used them before in previous routes, but we are trying to add more this time to really get that rush hour feel. And you can sort of see the timetable thing. You're able to see it, obviously, going through. How busy is this route from a signalling point of view? And Lucas has to say, it is especially busy at the yard. And the thing about Dresden is that it's old East Germany, so we still have these old East German HL signals. At Dresden, they seamlessly intersect with KS signalling. Further out on the route, you have the same signals, but you can distinctly see one signalling system end and a new one begin. In Dresden, they just overlap with each other. It was a huge job because the signalling systems, like in reality, they are separated in the code. Making them interact with each other is a lot of work, and it's very satisfying when it came together. For this route, we have spent a lot of time trying to include more features such as multi-block signalling, so that when the signal is red further ahead, it starts to lower the speed on the signals ahead to make you approach slower. And then we have how many different types of signals are there and how many have you used. The route has a lot of different signals. We have implemented the HL system, which is a completely new to Train Sim World. With the help of the art team, we created 20 new signals just for the system. We have also reworked the KS signals to tweak the colours so they look more realistic and give it a more natural feel. I think that's sort of how it was on Hamburg to Lübeck. Obviously, they sort of just look much clearer on there. Let's see. What makes this route rush hour? Michael says the good thing about this route is that we can bolster the traffic with previous DLC we have had before. You will not only have 4 rail vehicles, the 442, the 143, the 146.2 and the 185.5 in black livery, which already came with the pack, but you can also enhance your experience with other DLC from your collection. It will be the busiest route we have ever released. There are going to be large portions of services compared to what we have done before. And then Joe comes back and says, where freight is concerned, it's important to remember that you are second class and you are going to wait for every single passenger service that needs to get to its destination. Expect a lot of red signals. We like to look at it as an opportunity to admire the route art while we wait. It's also train spotter paradise. And then Lucas says Dresden is very compact, and that's why we needed that multi-block signalling system, because the trains really come in rapid succession and they share a lot of tracks. There will be a lot of red and yellow signals, and it's certainly a lot of fun. In the Dresden area there are hundreds of signals, and it gives you the feeling that there is a lot going on here. And then Michael says there's a lot to do, and it's going to be up to the player what they like the sound of the most. Has this been challenging to create? Lucas says, Train Sim World 2 brings it with many opportunities. I find that we were able to do more and spend more time adding extra features. We were able to add super elevated junctions. This will be the first for Dovetail. It is something that requires a lot of work because we need to angle the track and make sure the heights are correct to ensure the best rider experience. It's a unique feature for this route, but it is something we hope to start getting implemented for future routes. We're also introducing different ballast colours for this route, as we now have the technology to do so. How have the new consoles impacted gameplay? And Joe says, what the new generation consoles do allow us to do is take the upper limit bar away from us so we can allow for a lot more traffic. Trains can be queued up at signals without performance issues. In the past we have had to be very aware of memory limitations. With the new generation we should hopefully be able to add more. We don't know the current memory limit for PC users, but it should be somewhere similar to the next generation console. And I suppose maybe for last gen you might get a little less. I suppose I mentioned it at some point. And Michael says if anyone is going to be testing the limits of memory uses, it will be our team. Have you had a highlight creating this route? And Lucas says, I think the most satisfying thing for me is the Dresden main station itself. We have been able to sculpt the track to many different gradients. Approaching the station feels much more realistic. I love routes with gradients, and although this is one that doesn't necessarily have large gradients, this route has a lot of big junction areas and a lot of them are with flyovers. It's really fun. And that is that for that article there. Obviously brilliant to obviously see Riesa Dresden coming along nicely. Obviously you've seen all the screenshots. Obviously do pop all your thoughts in the comments below, and obviously thanks to Dovetail Games for the article. But that is going to be it from me. Thanks for coming in. Obviously do subscribe for more, do leave a like, all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, obviously, you will find a link in the description to the Discord server, to the PayPal, and also to the merch store, so you'll see everything on screen now. But that is going to be it from me. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. See you all, and take care. Bye, guys.